Hello, my name is Vasil Tysenko, I'm a Russian attorney. Setting up a company is not the only way to do business in Russia. Individuals can also become an individual entrepreneur or self-employed. They have different taxation systems, possible amount of income, amount of employees that can be hired, etc. What business can a foreigner start in Russia? Any foreigner residing in Russia on a legal basis, it means he must have any residence permit, is eligible to register as an individual entrepreneur and conduct business. And basically, any person can become an owner of a Russian LLC, but can't become the director, and any company must have a director. A foreign director must have a residence permit or work permit. To know more about it, reach out to our team. As far as self-employment, it's available only for citizens of Eurasian Economic Union countries Armenia, Belarus, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, as well as Ukraine, the Donetsk People's Republic and Lugansk People's Republic. Comparison. Main difference between these forms is that an individual entrepreneur and self-employed person are liable for debts and obligations to creditors and counterparties with his/her personal property, while an LLC is only liable with its authorized capital. An LLC can be incorporated by several people who act as partners in the new enterprise, in contrast to an individual entrepreneur and self-employed person where only one private person is the owner. The share in the business is distributed among the partners in proportion to the share in the authorized capital of the company. Let's say if this amount is 50,000 rubles and two of the partners contributed 20,000 each and the third 10, respectively, the first two will share 40% and the third will receive the remaining 20%. Registration and closing. To create a company, it takes 5-10 days. One should complete extensive paperwork, and closing an LLC takes no less than 6 months. Registering as an individual entrepreneur is easy, as well as deregister. The simplest procedure is to register as self-employed through the tax service application without any filing fees, and deregister takes place in the same manner. Taxes. There are many nuances, but in short, things are like this. Usually, if the income of an individual entrepreneur is less than 5 million rubles per year, the entrepreneur calculates the tax amount at a rate of 13%. If the annual income exceeds this amount, the entrepreneur must pay 13% of 5 million rubles and 15% of the amount over 5 million. And if you are not Russian tax resident, you pay 30%. Watch the video in the description to find out what tax residents are. Entrepreneurs also must pay insurance premiums for him or herself and for the employees. There are several taxation systems for companies. The two most common are simplified and general. The simplified is more advantageous, but applicable only to small firms. But even it has its own subsystems which are impossible to be covered in one video. The company pays insurance premiums to different funds too. The self-employed have their own taxation system called professional income tax, 4% when dealing with individuals and 6% with legal entities. But their income must not exceed 2,400,000 rubles annually. They don't pay anything to any funds. Hired workers. An entrepreneur can operate without hired workers, while an LLC is meant to have employees, which entails, in addition to taxes on the income received, insurance, contributions to off-budget funds from the employees' wages. Self-employment, as the name suggests, doesn't involve employees at all. Inviting foreign workers. Both entrepreneurs and companies have the right to invite employees from abroad, although this is a complex procedure. A self-employed individual can't. Fines. Fines imposed on illegal entities are usually higher than on entrepreneurs or self-employed persons. Quitting business. A legal entity can be sold if necessary, but individual entrepreneur or self-employed status is not considered an entity. You can only deregister. If you are co-owner and want to withdraw from LLC, sell your share to the other members or anybody else. By the way, if you were an entrepreneur but your residence permit expired or was revoked, you'll be deprived of this status too. Unlike a company, in this case you won't lose it. if you are not working. Individual entrepreneurs pay mandatory insurance contributions currently 49,500 rubles per year, every year regardless of whether they were actually doing a business. Companies don't pay it if they don't operate. However, they are required to maintain an accounting records, which will most likely require the involvement of a specialist, which will result in additional costs. As for self-employed, such businessmen don't pay anything if they don't have any income. Restrictions. Individual entrepreneurs, unlike companies, can't engage in certain types of activities such as selling alcohol. Self-employed have more restrictions. For example, they are not allowed to resell goods and sell mineral resources. Some people are also prohibited to register as self-employed. On the other hand, an LLC, unlike an individual entrepreneur or self-employed person, cannot take money out of the cash register at any time, since this is the company's income and it must be spent only on necessary needs that must be documented. My name is Vasily Tarasenko, I'm a Russian attorney. Bye.